Hello, what's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for joining me here on Narcissism 101, Cracking the Code with me, Paul Wisdom. All right, so before we get into what we're going to talk about today, like I always say in my videos, if you want a one-on-one session, you can email me at paul.wisdom_03@hotmail.com, or you can send me a text message at 647-406-3057. If you want to call, just send a text to that number and just let me know that's you and you want to talk about your narcissistic experience. And I'd be more than happy to give you some help, give you some advice. Or if you just want to talk about narcissism, I'd be more than happy to listen to, more than happy to talk to you about some of my experiences as well to sort of help you as well. So now, what we're going to be talking about today is the fact that narcissism has been around since the beginning of time. Yes, it has. Narcissism has always been around, but the truth is that it's just now that we are starting to talk about it a lot more. Think about from the beginning of time. I'm not sure how religious you are if you're watching this video. If it's your first time, thank you so much again for being here. But think about it for a second. If you're religious and I'm not sure what you believe in, but me as a religious person, when I read my Bible, the Bible talks about the fact that in the beginning God created the earth and whatnot, and then when we talk about what happened in the Garden of Eden with Adam and Eve and Satan deceiving Eve, and then as a result Eve went and sinned, and then as a result that's created this chaos of what we're dealing with in the world today. So that tells you that narcissism has always been around because the devil, he deceived Eve, he manipulated Eve, and then as a result, once he manipulated Eve, then Eve lied to Adam, and then the devil, when they were in the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve, they both had to give account for what they did, and they didn't know how to, and they were afraid, they were embarrassed and whatnot. So it's sort of when you think about narcissism in a nutshell, it's sort of the same idea that when the narcissist gets caught, they're embarrassed. When they're caught red-handed, they're embarrassed and they don't have much words to say because they weren't expecting that someone would figure it out. They weren't expecting that somebody would catch them red-handed or hold them accountable for their poor behavior. So narcissism has been around the world since before some of us were even born. It's just now people are starting to realize how much they've been taken advantage of, and we just didn't know that the behaviors we were experiencing had names to them. For example, manipulation, gaslighting, stonewalling, the silent treatment, verbal abuse, physical abuse, financial abuse. We didn't know that financial abuse was a thing. We just thought that sometimes people, they mishandle their monies and they're not very responsible, but we didn't think that it was to an extent where people actually squirrel away money, tell the person that they're with that they're broke or something like that, and then they squirrel away their money, and then that other person ends up spending their money. We didn't know that this stuff existed, but it always has. We just didn't know about it. It's been swept under the rug the whole time, whilst there are other things going around in the world. But I just want to let you guys know that many of us empaths, especially if you're on my channel here, again, thank you for being here. And many of us empaths, we got involved in the narcissistic relationship, the narcissistic abusive cycle. We didn't know what we were dealing with, and so many people are gonna say when they go out of it, when it's all over, when they get discarded and such the likes, they start blaming themselves and saying things like, how did I get involved in this? How did I not know that the person I was dealing with this was this toxic or a narcissist? How did it happen to me? Well, the answer to that is that you didn't know what you know now. There wasn't a class in school on narcissism. We didn't have classes on what are master manipulators or what is gas. We didn't have classes on these growing up in school. So, of course, you didn't know. You didn't know that behaviors had terminologies to them, right? You just thought that people were either good people or toxic people. That's at least what I thought. I just thought growing up that there were people who were toxic, and then there were people that were mean, disrespectful, and that there were people that were nice people and that were cool. That's what I thought growing up. But Unfortunately, that's just not the case. We have narcissists all around the planet, and the truth is that narcissists they come in all forms and shapes and sizes. They speak many. They're of many different races and ethnicities. So don't just think that the narcissist you dealt with, it was just them. They're all over. They're in every single race. So another thing you have to keep in mind is that although narcissism has been around since the beginning of time, you have to know that you can't, once you go through the narcissistic abusive cycle, you can't blame yourself, because the truth is that whether you want to admit it or not, you were meant to go through that narcissistic abusive relationship. Whether you want to know it or not, you had to go through that. Because I can tell you right now, let's say that you decided that when you were in the relationship with someone, again, you didn't know that they were a narcissist, you didn't know that narcissism was prevalent on the planet, you thought that something was off the whole time you were with them, right? Something's not adding up. They're acting one way at one point, and then the other time they're acting totally different, or they're saying one thing and then they're doing another. Like you're confused. You don't know what to attribute. You don't know what to relate those things to, because you didn't know that narcissism was prevalent on the planet. But the truth is that, let's say that you were to break up with this person. Let's say you look back now and you say, you know what if I broke up with this person and said, I want this relationship to end. I don't think we're good for each other, and blah, blah, blah. The truth is that whether you want to believe it or not, the truth is that same person that you said no to, chances are you would have encountered that person again, or you would have encountered someone much worse than that person, and things would have happened differently if you didn't go through that experience. And so what I'm just trying to explain to you guys here is that the narcissistic abusive relationship, it's unfortunate you went through it. And, I went through it myself for 8 years total, was married to her for 3.5 years. And I can say, guys, that, when I think back to the time when we were dating, we dated for 5 years and whatnot. When I think back to all that, I say to myself now, it's a good thing that I went through that. It's a good thing that I didn't back out, because, there were many times where I wanted to say I wanted to leave, where I was trying to tell her, I don't think that this relationship is going to work out. There were many times where I said that, but it was so weird, because every time I said I wanted to leave, for some reason, I always found myself coming back for some reason. I didn't feel like I could fully disconnect myself. And that's because I didn't realize that I was meant to go through that. See, if I had said no, chances are, and mind you, like I said, I didn't know she was a narcissist, and you didn't know that the person you were with was a narcissist. Believe it or not, that person would have stalked your social media, or they would have smeared you. The smear campaign would have been much worse if you had left them at that point, because then once they smear you, they know that you do not know anything about narcissism. And so it makes it a lot worse it would have made it a lot worse for you then, because you wouldn't have known what was going on. You would never ever have figured it out at all. You would have just thought, oh my gosh, I don't understand what's going on. And throughout the rest of your life, you would keep on saying, I don't know what's going on. Why do I always keep on why am I always taken advantage of? And then later on, maybe you would have found out that, oh my gosh, this whole time I was dealing with a narcissist. Oh my gosh. And even still, you probably wouldn't understand it to the extent that you do now that you've actually went through it. So what I'm saying is that this narcissistic abusive relationship or marriage, whatever you want to call it, this narcissistic abusive situation that you were a part of, it was actually a blessing in disguise. When you think about it, it was actually a huge blessing, because not only are you a much stronger person, not only do you now know about narcissism, but now that you've gone through it, now you can actually spot toxicity from a mile away. Now you can actually tell. Now you actually can do something that many people, I would say 90% of the population, maybe 98% of the population cannot do. You can decipher, you can see a narcissist from a mile away. You can spot whether the person you're dating now or trying to get into a long-term relationship with is narcissistic. And that's something that many people cannot do, because many people, even while I'm creating this video right now, many people are actually getting married, are tying the knot right now and they don't even realize that the person that they're going to be marrying is a narcissist. Many people are actually being discarded right now, getting kicked to the curb like nothing happened, and they don't even know that the person that they were in a situation with was a narcissist. See, that's why I'm saying it's a blessing in disguise. You had to go through that, and that relationship was going to end one way or another. And when it ended, however it ended, whether you discarded them, whether you did the reverse discard where you discarded them, or whether they discarded you, either way, the relationship ended when it was supposed to end. So what I'm saying is, although narcissism was with us from the beginning of time, the truth is that, and like I say, don't blame yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself because you didn't know this stuff. And the truth is you were meant to go through this. Why were you meant to go through this? Because the universe and God knew that you are a very strong person. The universe and God knew that you have what it takes. And the universe saw and knew that you were a person of resilience. You're a person who doesn't give up. That you're a person who has something where there's something much bigger and better coming for you later on in life. That's why there's a saying that goes, in order to get to the best things in life, you have to first go through the worst things in life. So that part of your life is over. You've been through the narcissistic abusive cycle. You're out of it now. I hope that you're out of it now. If you're not out of it, I hope that you're developing an exit plan, that you're trying to think about how you're going to get yourself out. Let's talk about exit plans for a minute. And I mentioned it in a few of my videos. When you're dealing with a narcissist, and I have to explain again that it really depends on what narcissist you're dealing with. So if you're dealing with a covert narcissist, your best bet is to make sure that, with any narcissist, it don't matter which narcissist you're doing. First of all, with any narcissist, do not, and I repeat, do not tell them that you are going to leave them. Do not tell the narcissist that you are going to leave them. Because if you do this, and I'm making emphasis upon this because I made it in one of my other videos, but I'll explain it here for the people who are new to the channel. The reason why you do not want to tell the narcissist you're leaving is because, one, they don't want to know that they don't have control over you anymore. And second thing is that once you tell them that you're going to leave them, they'll become a lot more dangerous. They may even up the smear campaign, and it may get even worse and worse and worse and worse until it gets more dangerous for you. Third reason why you don't want to tell the narcissist you're leaving is just because once you tell them that you're leaving, they will do everything in their power to stop you from leaving. Whether that's trying to isolate you, whether they could do anything, 100 matter of things. I don't even need to go through all of them, but they will do anything to make sure that you do not leave them. That's how dangerous and controlling these people are. Now, if you're dealing with the overt narcissist, again, don't, because if it's an overt, they're very loud and obnoxious. And they'll do all the things like a covert, but they're more loud and obnoxious with it. Coverts are very sneaky and they do things under the rug. When it comes down to a malignant narcissists are very dangerous. They'll actually physically attack you. They'll start breaking things and smashing things and even smash you with those things. Like they're very dangerous people. That's why I say in my videos, when you're planning on leaving, do not tell the narcissist you're leaving. What you do instead is you inform the people that are close to you, the people that you can trust, and you let them know that you're going to leave and that you'll need some help, moving some of your stuff. So what I advise you do is you wait till the narcissist is not anywhere in the vicinity. They're not in the home. They're not anywhere to be found. And then once they're nowhere to be found, you and that friend plan together that you call that friend over, and then you guys move as much of your stuff as you can, as fast as you can, out of that place. And then what you do is you get running. You do not go back there. Do not go back there. You just leave and you just take off as fast as you can. So I'm just letting you guys know that narcissism, it's been around the whole entire time. We just didn't know. And even in shows, like I'm watching this show right now called Dexter. You guys have probably heard about it before. And quite a few times within that show, there's been a lot of narcissism throughout that whole show. And I'm in season 6, I think it is. And I'm in I think episode 8 or 9 or something like that. And they're talking a lot about like manipulation and gaslighting and all that stuff. And this show was created years ago, right? And so if you think about it, narcissism, it's been around for years, guys. But it's just now that people are starting to speak up about it. It's being exposed now. Like the Bible says, there's a time and a place for everything. And now is that time that it needs to be exposed, because narcissists are of the devil. They're of reprobate minds. They're of reprobates of the devil. And so when it comes down to it, the devil knows, Satan knows that his time is short. And so he needs to run around and create as much chaos, confusion, and control as he can. Remember I speak about this on my channel a lot, and for the people that are new, one thing I talk about is chaos, confusion, and control. And these are things a narcissist thrives off of. This is what Satan thrives off of. If he can cause chaos and confusion in your life, then now he can control you, because now he has control of your mind. And that's why I mentioned also in one of my videos that one of the narcissist's favorite tactics is gaslighting, because gaslighting, it starts with your mind, and once the narcissist can fool you, they can get into your head like this. Once they can get into your mind, then everything else falls apart from there, because if your mind isn't strong enough, then the narcissist can attack your mind, and then it can break down everything else, because without your brain, nothing else can function. You need your brain to function, for everything else to function. Just like I'm talking to you guys right now. If my brain wasn't functioning, I couldn't speak to you guys the way that I'm speaking to you right now. So when it comes down to it, guys, just know that, you don't blame yourself. You have no one to blame. You can't blame yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. Don't be angry at yourself. Don't be thinking that, the narcissist, I'm such a bad person, or the fact that I went through the narcissistic abusive cycle, it means I'm not strong enough. Nah. In fact, it means you're really strong. The narcissist couldn't take you down. That's why you're still here. That's why you're watching my videos, because you're here and you know that the narcissist could not take you down. See, covert narcissists, in my opinion, are the weakest, are one of the weakest types of narcissists. The reason why I say that is because covert narcissists, they don't attack you to your face. They do things behind your back, sneakily under the rug. So when they're administering the smear campaign from the day that they met you, it's because you are stronger than them. You're better than them. You're better looking than them. You're just a way better person than they are. And so they need to go to other people in order to attack you. They can't just, because if they were strong enough, don't you think that they would attack you to your face? Yeah. So that means that if they have to go around to other people to get them on their side to attack you, that means that you must be a pretty strong person. You must be pretty tough. If somebody has to get others to gang up with them against you, to come against you, that means that you're a pretty tough person, if you know what I mean. So yeah, guys, that's what I wanted to talk about today. The fact that narcissism has been around since the beginning of time, and you just happen to be one of those people who got involved in the narcissistic abusive situation, just like I was, and I made it out unscathed. Maybe some finances or some stuff like that got rid of, but other than that, I got out unscathed. Maybe you didn't, and you're watching this video. I understand, and I'm with you. I'm with you. If you want if you want to have a one-on-one session with me, you're more than happy to do that. I'd be more than happy to talk it through with you if you want to talk. But just know that it's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. The narcissist targeted you because you have something of value that they don't have. And most likely that was empathy. You have a high level of empathy, and you're such a good person. And they know that they don't possess those traits. Like you do. So they need to attack someone and target somebody who has those traits, because narcissists are jealous of people. They're jealous of everybody around them. Even if the person did nothing to them, they're still jealous of people, because they need to have what others have, because they don't have what others have. I hope that you guys followed that just now. They need to have what others have because they don't have what others have. And so that's how the mind of a narcissist works. That's why they're so jealous. That's why they need to attack people. And that means that you are a very good person. If they attacked you, that means you are a very good person, because you have something of value that they don't have. All right? So yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining me here on Narcissism 101 Cracking the Code with me, Paul Wisdom. And like I said, if you want a one-on-one session, you can email me at paul.wisdom_03@hotmail.com, Or, like I said, you can send a text message at 647-406-3057. If you want to call, just send me a text and let me know that you want to talk about your narcissistic abusive situation. I'm more than happy to give you some help. It don't matter where you're from. I'm based in Canada, but if you're from the US, if you're from Europe, anywhere, I don't care where you're from. I'd be more than happy to talk with you. Yeah. I really thank you so much for being here on this video, and hope to see you on the next video. Thank you.